YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back with the third match of the North American Flash Tournament number 2 finals. This was hosted by Poccopacs, and in this game it is Poccopacs versus Hamilcar. If you have not seen the previous 2 matches and you don't want it spoiled, you should go back on my channel and watch the previous 2 matches. They are there. Both were very good matches. We are 1-1 as far as the outcome, so I hope that if you're going to go watch the other matches, you didn't stay there and listen for me to say that. But yeah, 1-1. Poccopacs won a very narrow victory as Parthia versus Rome, and then Hamilcar won a victory as... oh crud, now I can't remember the factions. Egypt versus the Seleucids, that was it. Yes, and so here we are in the third match with Poccopacs commanding Pontus, and Hamilcar in command of his namesake, Carthage. So, pretty exciting. Carthage and Pontus are both kind of mid-tier factions as far as their overall power anyway, but both have interesting tools and strengths, so this ought to be a fun matchup. Pontus, of course, boasting scythe chariots, Carthage boasting elephants. I would say interesting matchup between the two in general. So let's see, it looks like we've got a Thurio spear on each flank, but not a hillman on each flank. There's one hillman here, and it looks like we have Pontic swords, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, intermixed with 4 naked warriors, mercenary naked swords. They do have frenzy. They cost more than typical, or no, these guys cost less than typical naked swords, so they're a very good deal for Pontus right now because CA has yet to correct their cost. We have a Pontic royal cav. Looks like 4 noble blood cav and 1 scythe chariot. Skirmishers are 1 eastern javelinman, 1 eastern archer. So probably a little more rushy build from Pontus. Let's see what Carthage has here. So in the back, 2 Carthaginian cav, 2 mercenary Scutari cav. That's a combination I use myself a lot. Celtic light horse. I prefer the Iberians, but the Celtics have their own advantages as well, and they're a little cheaper. General's bodyguard. Let's see, so 2 Libyan hoplites up front. Let's take a look at his sword line. Out here on the flank, we've got a mercenary Iberian and a mercenary Scutari mirrored on this flank as well. His main line, as we go through it here, is going to be Libyan infantry. So 4 Libyan infantry, 5 Libyan infantry. And then it looks like there's a couple more swords in the back. They're probably Iberians. Yep, there's another Iberian. Or just 1 more sword in the back. Got a mercenary Balearic slinger there. That's a lot of long-range firepower, and another here. So Carthage, I think, holds the long-range, or holds the skirmishing advantage. Cavalry advantage is definitely in favor of Pontus. The 4 noble blood cav and a Pontic royal. I'm going to give the sword advantage to Pontus here because of the naked swords and their frenzy charge. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough battle for Carthage. Pontus has all the right tools here. They have scythe chariots. They have cheap, effective swordsmen here in the naked swords, though they are a bit of a glass cannon. If they don't get used properly, then they are pretty fragile. Pontic swords would get beaten by Libyan infantry, I believe. So that should be a good matchup for the Libyans. So, I mean, it's kind of back and forth depending on how the engagements go here. Pontus is attacking all in one big line, whereas Carthage has a couple of meat shield units out front. Let's see how this plays out. Poccopacs approaches, wanting to get a quick attack here. Mercenary naked swords. The Libyans are actually pulling back. Oh, a cavalry charge coming through. That's dangerous. So the naked swords pulling away from that. The Libyans knocked down by their own cav unit here. And that charge going into Pontic swords instead. And these naked swords getting a very clean charge into the mercenary noble fighters with frenzy, but getting destroyed on the way in, either by javelins or something else. So the noble fighters are going to do well there. I missed that noble fighter, so it's 4 Libyans and the 1 noble fighter. That actually changes the sword outlook quite a bit for Carthage. And because that naked sword didn't get its proper charge, I would say that the sword advantage is actually in the hands of Carthage. And this is the difficulty in using naked swords. See how these cavalry got in the way, even though they didn't get a good charge? The cavalry are going to help blunt the charge of the naked swords. and it's going to make it to where the mercenary Scutari do much better. And you can see that these hillmen and other units for Pontus are already struggling. The question is going to be how the chariots get used and how the Pontic cavalry gets used. There's openings here for the Pontic cavalry to bust through. There are Iberian swords and Libyan hoplites, but the noble blood cav is on its way through the gap. Carthage may want to plug that gap, but no, Pontus pulls back. Another charge into mercenary naked swords here. When these guys are robbed of their charge or they don't get the frenzied charge, it makes them much less viable. So very good job so far for Carthage interrupting that. Iberian swordsmen getting destroyed by noble blood cav, but if they got to throw some javelins, it'd be worth it. Celtic light horse, a noble blood cav behind his lines, that could be dangerous for Hamilcar. Mercenary naked swords dying to the cavalry here. Pontic swordsmen getting beat down by Libyan infantry. Pontic swordsmen doing good versus the noble fighters here that were already probably beat up by the naked swords. So the noble fighter's not being particularly effective in this battle. He's got mercenary Iberians though to help fill in the gap here if he needs to. Otherwise the fight's going pretty darn well for Hamilcar. The Pontic cavalry here getting ganged up on. It could probably still win that fight, but it's going to get tied down for a while. And here there is mercenary Iberian swords supporting the mercenary Scutari cav. That fight will actually go pretty darn well for Hamilcar as well. The center kind of collapsing for the Pontic troops here, so that's going to create potential problems. The side chariots, though, potentially have an opening here with nothing to stop them. Not sure why the chariots didn't go for that route. He may be just trying to save them for the late game and see if he can use them to mop up once Carthaginian cavalry has been taken care of. But the Carthaginian cav is mostly dead at this point. That noble blood cav here struggling to finish off the Celtic light horse because of the type of engagement that it ended up in. Yeah, the sword fight not going well. Pontus, their general, must have gotten wrecked somehow by Carthage. It could have been from javelins like this. The Pontic general almost useless here for Poccopacs. Chariot's now going to come in and try and wreck the Balearic slingers and the Carthaginian general. Not, whoa, it was. It's going to turn around and go for a rear charge here. Killing the general, though, of Carthage may not have been a bad plan here. But the chariots are going to start racking up some kills here. It wasn't enough to save these Pontic swordsmen here, though. I almost feel like maybe the chariots are coming into play a little too late, but it's hard to say. The match is definitely not over, and in the late game, chariots can be very punishing. Carthage has probably used a lot of their javelins by this point. Their cavalry is pretty much gone. So it could be very hard for Carthage to stop the chariots at this point in the game. This is going to be a close fight here in the end. Carthaginian general looks like he's getting away alive. He is alive. Javelins coming in on the chariots, though with them kind of spread out like this, it's going to be hard to get the best shots possible. Yeah, the chariots up to 160 kills and rolling. Pontic cavalry now coming in to silence the Balearic slingers and the Iberian swordsmen. This is really bad here for Hamilcar. Really bad. But the Pontic general is dead, and that is going to hurt the morale of the Pontic troops pretty badly. Whereas the Carthaginian general was alive up until a second ago, and the general shaken, casualties sustained. The general is probably dead, if not almost dead here. The chariot's still racking up kills now up to 270. Not sure if there's any javelins left for Carthage. If there is, they badly need to throw the javelins at the chariots. Balearic slingers should have ammo. They need to fire at the chariots, but the chariots here are going to really be able to cause a lot of damage. That was an important javelin volley. The chariots actually start dropping down to 4 units here and are wavering. If these chariots rout, it's definitely GG for Pontus. Oh, that's bad for Hamilcar. Balearic sling, but the chariots shattered at just the same moment that that cavalry. If that cavalry would have gotten there a little earlier, may be able to pull it off. So this is actually going to be a very close victory for Carthage, it looks like. Thurio spears trying to finish off Libyans. Mercenary naked swords trying to finish off a Libyan infantry here. This Carthaginian Scutari cav actually finishing off a noble blood cav. We're very close to it. That's a very close fight there. One more noble blood cav, so still potentially winnable for Pontus if he can get a couple of these infantry engagements finished off and get this cavalry here. So again, another very close battle between these two players. Oh, this is bad for Carthage. Oh, the rear charge there finished off the Libyans, but the The naked sword's shattered as well. So very, very close still. We got Thurio Spears wavering. If these guys go, that's probably going to be it. He puts them into square. Smart move. This is going to help bolster up their morale temporarily. So we got 2 heavy infantry and a mercenary Iberian and a mercenary Scutari. So kind of a medium infantry, a light, 2 heavies. These 2 have shield wall. Gonna have to be very careful though if they're getting charged by this noble cav in these thin of a ranks, not braced. This is gonna be very bad for Carthage here. Oh, yeah, noble blood cav is a heavy cav. That's gonna be a painful charge, a rear charge now into the late Libyans. But the Pontic cavalry could be taking casualties here. It does take a couple. And the Thurio Spears wavering. Only 41 men left in that unit, so the Pontic troops, though, now just due to numbers, are going to start to waver. So this is going to wind up being a very close victory for Hamilcar. So Hamilcar is going to take the series and the tournament. Wow, talk about some close matches. That was some interesting gameplay. Definitely fun to watch. I hope you all enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. So Poccopacs actually getting more kills, but Carthage taking home the win. Let's see, so looks like Poccopacs actually killed a certain number of his own troops here. Same thing with Hamilcar, it appears, because their losses are greater than the kills from the other players. So both players killed some of their own troops. Scythe Chariots playing a big role for Pontus, making this a very close battle. And I'm honestly surprised that they didn't finish this one off. A couple of timely Balearic Slinger volleys, along with the last couple of javelins from the Iberian Swordsmen, clutched it out versus the Chariots. And that's how cheap units like Iberian Swordsmen can be extremely handy at taking down very high-cost units like Chariots or Elephants. Still a significant number of kills. The Naked Swords were not really able to provide a whole lot of value here for Pontus, and I think that was part of his struggle. The Noble Blood Cav doing pretty well, and then also his Pontic Royal Cav failing to get any kills was another big struggle. The Libyan Infantry, for the most part, doing very well for Carthage. Scutari doing pretty good as well. Noble Fighters, not real great. They did good in their first engagement, but kind of got hammered in the second. Scutari Cav pulling its weight. Carthaginian Cav, that's a rough battle for them. But if Scutari Cav can get in without being charged, they can be pretty handy in almost any fight. Anyway, again, good game to both players. Hope you all enjoyed the finals from this tournament. If you're interested in participating in these North American Flash tournaments, then get in contact with Poccopacs. There's links in the description as well. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This was a fun tournament. No barbarian sword spam if you're tired of that. If you like it, then I'm sure there'll be plenty more of it in other settings. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting tournament. Thanks for hosting it, Poccopacs, and thanks for sending the replays. Hope you, the viewers, enjoyed it as well. HeirofCarthage signing off.